Virtual Village Hallers, it's National Poetry Day. My name is Rowan McCabe, and this is a poem about being together. And it goes like this. We're together at the restaurant, together in the park, together on the beaches when we're stopped to leave a mark in sand that holds a message that's 20 meters wide. We're together when we shout, and we're together when we hide. We're together at the shops, together on the train, together in the sun or in the wind or in the rain. We are together when we're singing, and together when we cry. We're together when we spot a lost balloon up in the sky and shout, "Look, someone's lost a balloon." And a stranger passing by says, "Isn't that a shame, pet?" Well, never mind. And you crack on with your day and you get on with whatever. But in that single second, you and them were both together. Like the bus driver or the hairdresser or the bike repair mechanic who lets you off for too quick because you've checked and you don't have it, and they say it doesn't matter and you can give them it next time, like when you didn't have that ticket but got let off from the fine. And your colleagues and your family, they're all together too. And that lad from down the street who you never really knew, but every time you pass him as the sun is coming up, you both exchange a no and nod like it is rough today. Good luck. And the more you start to notice, the more you realize there is barely a second in the day we are not unified in some kind of interaction that depends on mutual trust when it comes to staying alive on this earth. Together is a must. And it can be gigantic. Like when the DJ drops that tune and everything is pulsing to the heartbeat of the room, but it is microscopic too, like a message on a phone or a hand that wraps around yours as the words start to hit home. We are together when we win a game, but do not stop to gloat. We're together when we read the words that someone else has wrote, or when we watch Strictly Come Dancing and we're cheering on our fave. We're together when we're surfing on the internet's great waves. And there are times when I feel lonely, when I'm roughed up from the day. And the idea of together feels so very far away when I put the key into the lock of my dark and empty home, and I feel small and insignificant and tired and alone. But the bricks that built this house were laid by someone else's hands. And the food I heat up later was grown upon the land by someone who is linked to me in ways that can't be severed. So I whisper, we are, I know we are, I know. Together. Thank you very much, Virtual Village Hallers. Hello to the people who are tuning in. Do drop us a message to let you know that you're here and I am not just screaming into the ether. So yeah, it's National Poetry Day. It's the best day of the whole year if you're a poet. Better than Christmas and New Year and your birthday and payday combined. I mean, it's brilliant. I'm already on me second glass of laudanum. I've been for a stroll around 3 different graveyards and conversed with one demonic crow. It's been great. It's been a really good day so far. I hope you're enjoying yourself wherever you are and whatever you're up to. I wanted to share a little bit of local knowledge with you if I can. I'm coming to you here from lovely Newcastle in the northeast of England, which is where I live and where I'm from. And I wanted to tell you, I wanted to talk about my favorite food in the whole world. And some people tuning in might know this already if they're from the northeast, but some people might not. And I seem to have become a kind of unofficial spokesperson for this particular food, right? The food that I am talking about is the stotty, right? It's a stotty cake. Now, some of you might know what that is. Some of you might be tuning in now thinking, what is this? What is this thing, right? I've gone away to prepare to introduce you to this, right? In case you didn't know what it is. Hang on, there we go. Right, this is a stotty, okay? And as you can see here, you can get them from Greg's. It's a kind of bread. Best thing to do with a stotty, in my opinion, chop it in half. Put everything in there that you would put in a fried breakfast. You know, your egg, your sausage or veggie sausage, if that's the kind of thing you like. Your beans, a sauce of your choice, red or brown. put the lid back on it, chop it into quarters. It's really delicious. Like, it's a lovely spongy, doughy kind of bread. People who aren't from the northeast of England probably won't find this surprising, but anyone who is familiar with the stotty might be surprised to learn that you cannot get these anywhere else in the world. Anywhere else, which is odd because I bought this from Greg's, right? But if you go into Greg's in London, they've got the exact same things that they have in a Greg's in Newcastle, but the only thing that's missing is the stotty. I find that crazy. I find it crazy that the only place you can buy the stotty is the northeast, because when you try one, you never go back. They are amazing. So I thought for anyone who's tuning in who comes from a different part of the country or the world, I just wanted to take this moment just to celebrate a bit of local cuisine and to maybe introduce you to a kind of food that you're not familiar with already. And hopefully by the end of this poem, you'll have learned a little bit about why stotties clearly are the best kind of food ever invented, right? So this poem goes like this. Jimi Hendrix tried a stotty after playing guitar. Asked his manager to bring him a crate in his car, and to you and me that means it's the food of the gods. I fill me kegs when I see them in Greg's 2 for 1. I'm not discussing a bread bun or a seeded loaf. Those fake imitators don't even come close. You start a stotty off a car, it'll bounce right back, all intact, without even leaving a crack, like a spongy boomerang of elastic stuff your hand could never throw because it tastes too lush. Something like a peas pudding or something that's been fried, an egg and mayo, but it doesn't matter what's inside. The polls have closed, the counting of votes has stopped. Stotty's the best thing since bread that's been sliced or not. The fresh smell hits you harder than a French bakery. More serene than the dream-like scenes of Amelie, texture of cake baked and thick like a pillow, round like a wheel that's made of marshmallow. Forget any shame of a drunken mistake when you're munching on the stotty that's the size of your face. You can't be sad or you're mad, it's insane, like moving underwater because you're sick of the rain. Feed one to you whip it, it'll go like the clappers. Feed one to your nana, she'll gan raj like the flappers. If you want to catch a Geordie, just set this trap. You put a stotty on a fishing line and stand right back. So there you go. A little bit of local knowledge for you there. If you ever do come and visit in Newcastle and you're arriving for the first time, you know how to start a conversation with someone now, don't you? Just start a conversation about stotty cakes. If anybody out there, right, is dying to try these now, and you don't live in the northeast of England as well, right, look up the Big River Bakery online, okay? Big River Bakery. They'll do you a stotty mail order to anywhere in the world. And you too could try a stotty in the next however long it takes to post a stotty, 5 or 6 working days. But don't quote us on that. I don't know the exact postage times, but you too could try a stotty at some point in the not too distant future. So there we go. What have I been up to recently? What have I been up to? Well, something happened to us recently that was quite scary. I'm not going to lie, people of the virtual village hall. It was quite scary. I think it's important sometimes to take yourself out of your comfort zone, isn't it? It's important to do something that scares you. So my friend Hannah had a baby recently. The baby is called Gloria. And a few weeks ago, I had the honor and the terror of being invited to the baby's welcoming party to read out a poem. Now, my first question when I was invited to do this was, what is a welcoming party? And it turns out a welcoming party is basically a christening, but without all of the Jesus. So I was essentially invited to this like secular christening to read out a poem in honor of my friend's newborn baby, which is, obviously a huge honor, a lovely thing to be invited to do. Pardon me. But it was quite scary as well. I'm not going to lie. It was a bit scary. I wanted to do a good job. I've never really wrote a poem for a newborn baby before. I didn't really entirely know what I was doing. But I wanted to share it with you. I haven't really had the chance to tell many people about it until today, really. I just took a video of the event on my social media today, but until now I haven't really spoke about it very much. So I thought I'd read it out while I was here as well. And maybe if anyone tuning in has recently had a baby or has had a baby arrive in the family, you might recognize some of the stuff in this poem. It's called Gloria's Party. Oh, in case anyone's wondering, by the way, the start is a riff on Gloria by Laura Branigan, the tune, but you don't need to know that. It's Gloria's Party. Gloria, you're never on the run now because you haven't learned to walk yet and your legs are still too small. But Gloria, it's your welcome party. We're cracking out the bunting. Say hello to planet Earth. Gloria in a toucan t-shirt. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria spelled out on a banner, and your mom's baked 100 scones in your honor. And Gloria, you are really new. 13 weeks as I write this, but Gloria, there's a lot to do. The world is a very big place. I keep imagining you when you're older. You'll have been to more parties. As you'll see, there is a knack to knowing when to stay and when to leave before you're sick on someone or something you shouldn't be. Gloria, remember to sing along when you can. Gloria, remember to dance. Never push to the front of a buffet. But don't spend so long chit-chatting there's only crab sticks left. Will there be crab sticks in the future? A part of us hopes there won't. Gloria, if you're reading this, your mom does a really good conga. Gloria, if you're reading this, you owe me 1 pound back. Gloria, there might be parties you are wholly unprepared for. There might be days you can't find a corner space that doesn't make you feel like the last crab stick. Gloria, I know this with absolute certainty. You are so much better than the last crab stick. I have travelled 293 miles to be at the first party you will ever see. No one has ever asked me to write a poem for a newborn baby. You are probably realising why. When I saw you on the cracked screen of my phone, you looked like a very serious potato. You were already at peace with the idea of a video conference. When me and your parents were young, you had to speak to everyone on a landline, which was like a mobile, except it was tied to the wall with a copper string. Gloria, you do not need to know this. You will never need to know any of this. I keep thinking about everything in my head that's of no use. All the things you will need to do that I will never understand. I keep thinking if your parents love you as much as they do, then maybe it won't matter as much as it could have. That there must be something good in everything being brand new and for the first time forever and ever and ever. In the past few weeks, you've started to show your personality. I've been told you are no nonsense. You are funny. These are the most valuable gifts anyone can receive. I know no matter the length of the queue or the distance between, you already have everything you need inside the walls of this party. That if voices are calling or someone has your number, you will understand deep down exactly how to get yourself to a better place. And Gloria, with a name like yours, who could do it any other way? So I have got one last poem for you, and then I'm going to head off. Thank you very much for tuning in, the people that have. I've had no comments so far, so I'm still not entirely sure if I'm screaming into the void or not really. But I'm going to assume that I'm not, and that you've been listening and that you have been enjoying it. That's what I'm going to choose to believe, and I'm sure it's the case, and it's much appreciated. And I'm going to finish on one more. If anyone is interested, I've got some books. Go to rowanthepoet.com or just type my name into Google. That also works. But I got asked to do, well, I was doing a residency last summer on Hexham High Street in Northumberland, right? And it was quite good fun actually. So the idea was to engage the local community somehow, to approach them, to have conversations with them, and to collect some ideas for poems, which essentially involved me standing with a massive homemade yellow sign with the words "free poems" emblazoned on it in in permanent marker. And I stood in the street on the high street and shouted free poems. And when people walked past, I offered them a deck of cards. It had like 5 cards with 5 different words wrote on them. And people would take a card and I'd read a short poem, it's like a minute long. And then ideally have a little chat with them after that about something that was important to them, something they would like to have a poem about. And one of the people I got chatting to was a guy called Steve. And Steve asked for a poem about spoon theory. And for anyone who's not familiar, spoon theory is this idea of, well, it was coined a few years ago as a way of helping to explain why people with physical disabilities or people who are neurodivergent, while life might be a little bit harder for them in some respects than for other people. So it's this idea that imagine you start off the day with 10 spoons, right? And this is how much energy you have to get through the day. And getting out of bed might cost you a spoon. Getting on the train to work, that might cost you a spoon. Doing a task at work, for example, like sending a series of emails, that might cost you another spoon. And as you can see, if you don't sort of measure them out or measure them through the day, then you can run out of spoons and not be able to do the essential things you need to do at the end of the day. And as I say, it was coined a few years ago as a way of trying to help explain why people might find things a little bit more difficult if they do have a disability or a neurodivergence. And I had this lovely conversation with Steve about this idea. And I was particularly moved to find out that it does also apply to people who are neurodivergent, as well as having a physical disability. That's a really long explanation of spoon theory, right? And probably not really very well explained in a scientific sense. You don't really need to know very much about spoon theory to get something out of this poem. I also just wanted to see how many times I could fit the word spoons into a poem. Really, it's a great word, isn't it? It's such a simple but fantastic word. Spoon. I love it. It's just got a lovely ring to it, doesn't it? Spoon. It's a friendly word. So yeah, I think this is quite possibly a poem with the word spoon in more than any other poem that's ever been written. I still haven't had that officially verified, but I think it might be the case. If anyone's tuning in and they do have an expert knowledge on poetry, specifically poetry that references spoons, please do reach out and get in touch. I could do with some official advice on this, but I'm going to leave you with the poem Spoons. If you enjoy this as well, it's actually, so we made a film about the poem and about Steve. And that's been at an exhibition at the minute in a theatre in Hexham called the Queen's Hall. But the exhibition finishes really soon, and the video is going to be uploaded online as well. So if you check out Rowan McCabe on social media, the video will be up in, I'd say, by the end of this month. And we've got a really lovely interview in there with Steve as well, who explains all of this a lot better than me. But I'm going to leave you on this. I hope you have a lovely rest of your National Poetry Day, whatever it is you're doing. May it be stuffed full of hyperbole and metaphor and beautiful rhyme. And I'll leave you on this one. It's called Spoons. Some spoons offer coffee. Some spoons are for tonic. Some spoons are big as garden spades. Some spoons are microscopic. Some spoons are for salad. Some spoons are for soup. Some spoons are worn out, rusty, and scuffed from a lifetime of regular use. Some spoons are silver. Some spoons are wood. Some spoons you get from ice cream vans aren't really very good. Some spoons are keepsakes from faraway places, and some spoons are kept safe in shiny glass cases. And some drawers are stuffed full of thousands of spoons. So every compartment is littered and strewn, while others make do with a few trusted items they measure their life with and daily confide in. See, some spoons aren't for eating. They're for commuting on the train. Some spoons offer clearing out a dusty cupboard space. Some spoons will propel you to a cafe for an hour, while others are to lift you out of bed and in the shower. And sometimes we'll lose spoons we had over time. So we can't understand why we suddenly find that the simplest task seems to slip through our hands. While we're lacking the equipment to accomplish our plans, but we should not blame our few spoons for the passing of past spoons. To make way for new spoons, we must not misuse spoons. Spoons used on self-hating or spoons we're misplacing. Let's use those spoons as tools to scoop a groove we can be safe in. See, some spoons are just for feeling. Some spoons are just for breathing. Some spoons are just for giving, but some spoons are just for keeping. And some spoons are for smoothing out a space in every day where we can settle on a cushion, where we can catch ourselves and say, you know what? I am worthwhile. And I'm human and I matter. And I'm so sick of reaching out towards imaginary standards. When life is not a marathon in which we are engaged, when success is an illusion that is lost before it's gained, then how can I be kind to others when I treat myself so hard? When I scorn myself each time I miss these arbitrary targets when I'm tired, but I have tried to scrape the most out of this day. It didn't go the way I planned it to, but maybe that's okay. Maybe I deserve to catch my breath for an evening in this room, on a sofa, on a cushion, with some ice cream and a spoon. Thank you very much, Virtual Village Haulers. Have a lovely rest of your day.